Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, along with my much better looking half and my beautiful bride, Shannon. It's time to talk to you guys because the Raiders are really attacking the offseason now. I had a general manager tell me this one time. I've shared with you before. You can't win a Super Bowl in May, but you can lose one.
Right.
And they are attacking well, Matt, you were there with me when he said that, but they are attacking the offseason. So let's get right into people's questions.
All right. Hondo, do you think Cam Miller will beat out Aiden O'Connell for the backup job this year? Trisha D.
That's a great question, Trisha. I think no, I don't think he will. He's going to be a rookie. Aiden's got some experience, and I think this team is in a win now modicum. Do I think he could down the road? I absolutely think he could, but not to start the season. And that doesn't mean that I don't believe in Aiden. I know that they believe in Cam. Let me rephrase it. I think I know that they believe in Cam enough and they want the competition that if he wins it, he can have it. I just think it'll be a little difficult for him to win that no matter how good he plays prior to the start of the season, but he's going to get every shot. It'll be fun to watch.
Next, Hondo, Kenny Mellett was a great pick. And could you see the Raiders keeping him as a third quarterback from Don K?
No. Do I think he would be the third quarterback? No. Do I think that he could be the third quarterback on game day to keep an extra body? Yes, but you get to keep an extra quarterback without it costing. So no, I guess I don't. I don't see him keeping him specifically as a third quarterback because that's not how they see him. They see him as a Julian Edelman type player. But is the fact that he played quarterback in his past certainly something for trick plays and other stuff? Absolutely. But no, they wouldn't keep him specifically just as the third quarterback.
All right. Hondo, I loved your insight on Will Johnson and how you thought he would drop. And even though you took a ton of crap from from people of Shadur, you were 100. Do you feel vindicated? Diego O.
Diego, I don't necessarily feel vindicated because all I'm doing is passing on the information to you guys. So I don't feel vindicated. I didn't feel offended. I took a ton of crap. I mean, I laughed because people said, well, you don't like Shador because of his color. Well, I said Cam Ward was the best quarterback. And what about our granddaughter, our son, our nieces and nephews? Do I hate them, I guess, because they're not white? No, I mean, this is stupid. That's such a stupid thing. No, I don't feel any vindication whatsoever because I'm passing along to you information we get from NFL people. And I guess I don't really care about what people say.
Do you care that you're wearing a Christmas shirt in the middle of
What do you mean a Christmas shirt? It's red and white.
It's got, yeah, it's got stockings on it.
I didn't even know it was a Christmas shirt. I'm sorry. I just grabbed the next one out of my closet. Anyways, so no, I don't feel vindication because I just don't take it personal. I just my dad used to always say, take advice. I'll only worry about criticism from people you want their advice. So I give you guys the information. What you do with it or how you attack with it is your decision. It's on you. And I sleep good. Let's go. Sorry, we're in a little bit of a hurry.
Hondo, you called it a year ago and all offseason that only two quarterbacks, according to your sources, worthy of number one in Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. I applaud you, kind sir. Any word on who quarterback is projected for 2026?
Well,
M. Nathaniel.
Yeah, there's Klubnik of Clemson, Aller of Penn State, Arch Manning. I'm leaving somebody out. So so Arch Manning, Aller, Klubnik, Lenoris Jenkins, and there's another one. I'm sorry. I'm just drawing a blank. It's not Beck. So no, sorry, I can't think of the fifth one. But yeah, there are five guys projected as first rounders next year.
All right, Hondo, can you tell me why the Raiders never kicked the tires of Pete Carroll's old WR Tyler Lockett? It seemed like a no-brainer. And all the Raider reporters, except for you, talked about him being a possibility. Jack T.
Well, Jack, I can't say that everybody reported on it because I don't read everybody's writing, but you're absolutely right. We never discussed Lockett. Um, I Lockett is a great guy who's at a place in his career where his abilities don't match what he used to be able to do, and they didn't need that. And I can tell you, over the summer, that was not anything remotely on the radar. So I understand why people would have said it because he used to play for Pete, but his skill set is no longer where it was, and that's not what they needed.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Hondo, any word on a new assistant GM? I know usually when a new GM comes in after the draft, they start bringing in new guys and some of their quote unquote own guys to add to the front office. Any word on if or when Spy Tech will do this? Thanks, Matt B.
Well, you've seen SpyTech already start to redo some things. There's some people that are not here. I think this is a thing you're going to watch play out probably over the next couple of months. Some of it over the next month, but yeah, over the next couple of months.
All right. Hey, Hondo, I really like your broadcast and information and thoughts. I also like your profession of Christian faith. Do you have any knowledge or thoughts on changes in the Raiders scouting department staff now that John Spytek is GM? I know sometimes these guys want their own people they are more comfortable with rather than leftovers from the past. Thanks, Kenny M.
I know there's not a lot of dislike or even distrust in that department, but I think it would be foolish to say that there isn't going to be some change. Either guys that want to go move to places with people that they know, or, but yeah, I think everybody that's there today will be there a year from now. No, I don't think everybody. Do I think there will be some change? Yes. Do I think it's going to be holistic? No, some, but not holistic.
Excellent. Hondo, that place was the bomb. The qual was amazing. The queso, the quail.
He's talking about this gentleman went.
He went to Papacitos.
Yes, we love Papacitos. Okay, go ahead. Read there.
That place was the bomb. The quail was amazing. The queso was pretty good too. I see why you and your lovely bride like it so much and want to go there every year for her birthday. Thank you again. I know you talked about somebody coming to your house in your podcast. Did you guys call the police department where you live? I hope so. You guys take care of yourself.
Joaquin or Joaquin. Joaquin.
R.
Joaquin or Joaquin R. We don't talk about. Did you just?
No, I would itched.
Oh.
You think I was picking my nose?
No, I'm like, what? That's not you. I'm not going to say who that would be in this marriage, but it wouldn't be you. Anyways, we don't talk about security. Let's just say we have excellent security, and it was handled much to their chagrin.
And they've not been.
No. But glad you went to Papacitos, brother. Everybody should go to Papacitos. Let me just tell you something. Anytime I'm in Texas, is this not accurate? Not just for your birthday either.
Anytime you go there.
Anytime I go to, so I love it when they play the Dallas Cowboys. Anytime they go to Texas, I eat at Papacitos it's the only place in the United States, because when we're in Africa, I can stay on my diet at the carnivore. But when anytime I'm in the United States, it's the only place I don't stay on my diet. I'm very regimented. But when I'm in Texas, I eat every single meal at Papacitos. Great. It's our favorite restaurant
And
in
every
America.
time he goes to Texas, I beg to go with him.
Okay, let's go.
It's very good. Hey, Hondo, I'm fairly certain I've heard you reference being a business owner.
Business owners. We both are, yeah.
So I'm sure you're familiar with SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. I would be interested in what yours would look like for the totality of the Raiders organization now that the draft is over. Thank you, as always, Chris from Baltimore. And here.
So, Chris, that's a great one. And let me go over my 4 real quick. Number 1, I am familiar with the term. I've heard it presented a little differently than SWOT, but yes, I'm very familiar with the term. So let me just say this. First of all, I think right now the strength of the Raiders is absolutely everything to me, no matter if it's a family, a business, a football team, a friendship group, everything rises and falls on leadership. You know that, don't you? I mean, we teach that to our employees and everything else. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And for the first time since I've covered this team in 6 years, I think it's the best leadership team ever. I love that Mark Davis is at the helm. I love the way he has grown as a leader, and we have a very important article coming about that in a couple of weeks. I love that he's brought Tom Brady in. It's not his title as director of football operations in the least bit, but he is a commanding voice when it comes to football. I love John Spytek, which Shannon will tell you, we've been talking about Spytek the whole I mean, since before the 6 years, before I even covered this team. I've been recommending Spytek. As a matter of fact, you'll remember a president of a team called me and said, give me 3 names of the 3 hottest young guys. I want to make sure I'm not missing everybody. We were driving down the road. We were headed up to Cadillac. And I said to John Spytek, and that was 7 years ago. Something like, yeah. And I mean, so yeah. And then with Pete Carroll, tremendous coach. I love Spytek. I love Brady. I love where Mark Davis is right now. So the strength of this team, no doubt, is leadership. Then if I had to talk about the next part, I would say a weakness is there's going to be a learning curve. And this is a very young team, and you've got new direction, not necessarily on defense, but there's going to be a learning curve. And there's always a weakness with a learning curve. Right now, Dexter is potty training, and man, he's doing tremendous. I'm so proud of him. Okay. But guess what? If he comes up and goes, oops, poopy in his pants, we're not mad about it. But if Shane comes in and says, oops, poopy in my pants, he's 20. Clean it yourself. You know, or who any of our other children. But so I think that's a weakness right now is a learning curve. The next, I think that they have youth and they've got depth. Now, with youth comes youthful mistakes. One of the things I watch parents do that fail so much, and I was so grateful of my dad, is my dad knew when is this a learning mistake because you're trying to learn who you are, and when is it a rebellion or a deceivious mistake? And there is a difference.
Oh, for sure.
There is a difference. I'll give you a classic example. Last night, Dexter did something, and I was about to get on him. And Shannon, she's such a great wife. She walked over and she looked at me and she said, just remember something. He was excited. He wasn't angry. And I said, oh man, I appreciate it. And she wasn't trying to show me up. She didn't do it in a way that Dexter saw her correcting me. She did it exactly the way a spouse should do it. United team with Dexter. And so I walked over and handled it completely different, thanks to you, by the way, and you deserve all the credit in the world. So I just with youth comes youthful mistakes. And so the team's got a lot of depth, but the depth is really, really young. It's got to be developed. And remember, okay, I said to you last year, Antonio Pierce is going to make first year coaching mistakes.
For sure.
Okay. Pete Carroll isn't getting that grace.
Right.
He's not a first year coach.
Yeah.
So I just think that's something people need to take into account. And the last part is though, and I think this is something you plant your flag on. They're going to be aggressive. If a guy hits a quarterback late and it's not just a stupid, undisciplined, but it's a young guy who, okay, they're going to be okay with it because it's an aggressive mistake.
Right.
But if you just walk up and cold cop punch somebody after the play and get a personal foul, they're going to be livid. Sure. I love the Raiders are going to be aggressive. And you know that's
I think the fans love it too.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's awesome.
And you are one.
I know.
And you love it. All right, let's go. Sorry.
Okay.
That was a great question.
With the current state of the Raiders, I was wondering if they feel they're returning to their roots as the bully team of the NFL. That was when they were at the top of their division. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks, Michael B. from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Michael, I've already talked about this on a couple of podcasts. You must have missed them, brother, but they are absolutely going back to old school Raider bully ball. And remember, you don't have to have the same skill set. You want the same mindset. I'll give you an example in marriage. We're different, thank God. I cleaned a crock pot for you today. And I said, hey, I cleaned this crock pot for you. It's probably not up to your standards because it was. I shocked you, didn't I?
No, it's still sitting there. I just haven't had time.
Do you have to really rewash it?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay. But so guess what? Our skill sets are different. We bring two different things to our marriage, but we have to have the same mindset.
For sure. Yep.
Would you not 100% agree with that?
Agree.
That's why, the Bible says two people can't walk together unless they be in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's important. You have to have the same mindset, different skill sets. So you got, Bash, a wide receiver who plays like a bully, man. He wants to, if he's blocking on the play, he wants to crush your Adam's apple. I love that on a wide receiver. Gene T runs that way. He wants to run over you. If it's pass blocking, he wants to rip your Adam's apple off. And then you turn around and Max Crosby, we'll eat your, I mean, like Dan Campbell. I was cracking up with Dan Campbell about that at the owners' meetings, but Dan Campbell says we want to bite your kneecap. Well, Max wants to bite your Adam's apple off. I mean, they want to be bullies. I love that. That's how the game of football is meant to be played. I love that. So yeah, different skill sets.
Same mindset.
By the way, if you're out there and you're married, that's a great mindset for marriage also. Different skill sets, same mindset.
All right. Dear Tio Hondo, I'm so excited.
But dear what?
Tio Hondo.
They called me Tio?
Yeah, they must be from must be Mexican.
Wait, okay, no.
Or Cuban or something like that.
Is
That's
that
like Tio. I don't know if it's friend or bro. I think it's brother, something like that. Tio.
And that's Spanish?
Yeah. Carlos says that, calls people
Oh,
Tio.
Carlos does?
Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's
Carlos is a great friend of ours. He's a pastor friend of ours and former great baseball player. I didn't know that that's what that meant. I would have.
I think it's. I want to say it's brother. I don't think it's
okay. So it's Spanish for something. So if it's bad,
I know it's not.
Okay, so if it's bad though, God bless you, and if it's good, thanks.
I'm so excited that my Raiders were able to pick Ash and Gene T with their pick. Yay! I was a bit surprised by a few of the picks, and I wanted your thoughts. First, I was surprised that Jacksonville traded up to pick Travis Hunter.
I wasn't.
While I think that he's a good player, I'm skeptical of his durability to last playing both sides of the ball, which I thought would scare teams away from drafting him high, much less trade him up to draft him. Secondly, I was surprised that Jalen Walker dropped to 15. And I thought the Steelers got a steal. Can you give me your thoughts on both of these picks? Thank you also for what you do. I've learned so much from you both about football and about life. By the way, I love seeing your wife Shannon on the podcast with you and the interaction that you have with one another. Keep bringing her on. May God richly bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you. Tony H. in Glendora, California.
That's one of our favorite songs. The Lord bless you and keep you. Now you know why I talk and don't sing. That's one of our. We love that song when we're in church and they play that song in church. Man, that's a praise and worship song. So let me just say this. I was not surprised. I knew they loved Travis and I knew they loved Gene T. And Gene T was not going to get by them at 5 if Travis was gone. That just wasn't going to happen. And so that's why in several of my mocks, I kept saying to you, Gene T wasn't there. But they saw an opportunity to play Travis. Their biggest need was corner and wide receiver. And so I just have a sneaking suspicion. I'm not supposed to say a ton that they probably had a conversation with Travis. We're going to let you play both, but you're not going to play both full time. And I think Travis was probably like, okay, I'm just guessing.
I'm sure you are. Probably a pretty good guess. We'll find out.
So I think that was a great pick of Travis. I I love Travis Hunter. I first of all, I genuinely really like. I got a chance to spend a lot. You and I both did in at the SI gala.
Mm.
Where what's the name of the Simone or the gymnast won the award?
Yeah, Simone Giles.
Bryles.
But
Was it Bryles? But she was there. Muhammad Ali's wife, who we actually knew from before, so it was great to catch up with. Love her.
precious woman.
But anyways, so I got that chance to spend with Travis, uh, and really just chat and get to know him. I walked away from that so incredibly impressed with him. I really like him. I like him as a person a lot. Got a lot in common with him. We both love the outdoors but just anyways, just a lot of stuff on a personal level, love for the Lord. But I really like Travis and I think it was a great pick. So Travis was a great one. And as far as Jalen dropping, I said that night of the draft, it's as absurd as Brock Bowers dropping. And but he did. So but he'll be fine. Okay, what's next?
So does that mean that the Steelers get a steal?
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick too.
Last season, I felt like the lack of a good running game that opponents had to account for hurt the passing game and quarterback play and also the defense.
Mhm.
I don't generally like looking back and saying what if, but had we averaged over 100 yards a game last season, what do you think looking back the record would have been? I believe we would have won all the close games. With that in do you see a good possibility of a jump in wins next season? Thanks always, Doug from Colorado.
I can't make my prediction yet. I don't even know the schedule yet, so I'm not making that. If they had been over 100 yards, their record would have been considerably better. I'm going to address here pretty soon just a little bit about what went wrong last year. I'm not going to address it today, but yeah, if they're over 100 yards, they were in the playoffs with a considerably better record. The lack of a running game was critical, especially when they said they wanted a running game. It's like saying, hey, we want to be able to throw the football, and you never do. But yet you build your whole team around wanting to throw the football. It's not going to work. It's like wanting to make a pizza and you go buy the ingredients for General Zhao's chicken. You're not going to make a very good pizza.
Exactly.
But you could. You can make anything. You're an awesome cook. But you know what I mean if a normal human. So anyways.
All right. Dear Hondo, I hope this email. What?
Let's go to use Hawaiian chicken.
No.
Sorry, inside joke here, but goes back quite a ways. That goes back
a long ways.
40 years. Nah, you're not that old. But it would go back
92.
92? So
Probably 92.
It's 34 years. That was a pretty good joke. All right, here we go.
Dear Hondo, I hope this email. You're still paying for that chicken. You're paying for that Hawaiian chicken.
The rest of every time an Amazon box arrives, I think about that Hawaiian chicken. Sorry, but that was really funny. Oh my gosh, that was great. Now do you forgive me for wearing a Christmas shirt in April?
Oh, of course.
Sorry, I didn't. It was the next in my closet. So let's go. Hurry up. We got to get going.
Dear Hondo, I hope this email finds you well. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Tommy Mellett. What do you think he brings to the Raiders, and what do you see his role as on the team? Kirk Lackey.
Oh, man, I think this guy's a punt returner, a kick returner. He can do receiver. He's got speed. I think you can do some trick plays with him throwing the football. I think every time he touches the ball, the defense is going to have to stick with their man because he can throw the football. He's a Swiss Army knife. And so I think he's a Julian Edelman type kid. Gets a little bit of bulk. I think he could really be a Julian Edelman, but I think this kid is just going to be a jack of all trades that man, I'm excited about him. I really like Dylan Labe, but he can do more than Dylan Labe, and I really like Dylan. He's a good kid. But Tommy Mellett, man, He just brings so much, and he's a winner. He's a winner. That kid, man.
That's a good mindset to have.
And if you have turned the film out on that kid, he can stop on a dime and give you 9 cents change. Shannon and I can go through a store and she'll stop and turn, and I'm like, where are you going? There's a sale over here. How do you know? I know. That's Tommy Malott. There's a open receiver over here.
That's hilarious. Ready? Oh, this question's for me. Hey, be quiet now. This is for me. Aunt Shannon, I know you want Gene T. How excited were you when you heard his name, Kim Alf?
No, yeah. Before you answer Kim's question, I have to say something. I am sitting in the Raiders draft in the building. And as soon as now you're with our son Noah and Dexter, and they're playing pool on our pool table. And as soon as the pick's made, my phone starts blowing up by our friends. Wow, Shannon's excited. And people are sending me screenshots he took to social media.
Welcome to the Raiders.
And I'm like, I'm getting texts from executives and scouts. I mean, I'm trying to cover the draft. This is my job. And I'm saying to all of our friends, please don't text me. I'm working. Sorry, never seen Shannon so excited before.
So how did I respond? Well, so I had the TV super, super loud because I didn't want to miss it, obviously. And we were playing, Noah and I were playing pool when I stopped. And when they announced it, I started twirling and jumping up and down. You know how excited I am when you come home from work every day. I started twirling and jumping up and down. And Dexter yells, "Yay!" So
and tell them, isn't it hilarious? So she is so indoctrinated Dexter now. The other day on our riding with Hondo and Dexter, just our morning update that we do on Spotify and Apple. It's just a quick morning 4-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute podcast. But tell her what Dexter did this
time we were doing it. He's yelling Raiders.
So it's hilarious. Dexter now ran me the other day. Dexter and I are walking through the store, and he sees a Raiders shirt, and he just starts yelling Raider. And I'm like, okay, buddy, it's good. We're good. Raiders.
That's great.
All right.
All right. Warning, not football.
Okay. This is our one question we do every podcast. It isn't football, so you're free to go now. Just don't bitch about it if you stay.
Hondo and Shannon, I love seeing the two of you doing the podcast together.
We enjoy it, don't we?
It's a lot of fun. It is a bright light for all of us to see a husband and wife team. What is the best piece of advice you can give us for our marriage? We have a good marriage, but we want what you both have. Chris and Carla from California.
I'll give you two quick ones because, and they're really the same, but you can't give one without the other from me, and then you give whatever you want. First thing is we are both Jesus followers, unashamed. Nothing to be ashamed about. If there's anything to be ashamed about, it's who we are without him.
For sure.
So that's the shame. But I can't love her the way God made her to be loved if I don't love Christ first. And she'll tell you the day I asked her to marry me, which was, man, what a good day. The day I asked her to marry me, I said to her, I said, Shannon, before you take this ring and answer me, I want you to make me one promise. Never love me more than you love Jesus. Because I will fail you, and I have. And women who put their husbands before Christ, when the husband fails, then you blame Christ. You get bitter against life and everything else. But if you always love Jesus more than me, then when I fail, you can go to Jesus and say, hey, we got to work on your son here. But so that's the thing is first of all, if you want advice, love Jesus, because even if you have a great marriage, you will find a new way to love your wife because now you get to love her through the light of God who made her. But second of all, never love your wife more than Christ. I love Shannon. but it doesn't even compete with how much I love Jesus, because I know how big of just a piece of trash I am. I had a gentleman email the other day and say, Hondo, you're a good man. I said, no, I'm not. Remember when they went to Jesus and called him good?
He said, no one is good.
Yeah. Here's Jesus, who was without sin, said, I'm not good. What are you talking about? There's only one good, and it's the Father. It's not me. And I know who the miracle of the gospel is not that Jesus died for me. It's that he knew me.
And still,
I didn't deserve it. Okay, you have any marital advice?
that is exactly the same thing. And like I think the last time we did it, it was a very similar question. And we talked about just being patient and slow to speak. But one thing actually that if you said we have a good marriage, but we want what you both have, we don't settle for good.
Mm-mm.
Good's not good enough.
No.
Great's not good enough. It's never, we never have a good enough marriage. If you have a mentality that your marriage is good enough, you're missing out. It's never going to be good
No
enough.
way.
You always, every day, have to work at it, have to strive at it. And they're going to fail. They're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. We both are human. It's what happens. It's showing the grace and keeping your mouth shut. And if it doesn't change in the time that you want it to change, I pray about it. He'll come to me and be like, why don't you talk to me about this kind of stuff? I'm like, well, sometimes you don't listen. So it's easier just to pray about it. But the other thing I want to tell you is never stop dating. Even though we adopted Dexter and we have a 2-year-old and we have a total of 8 kids, we don't stop dating. Sometimes we take Dexter with us, but
we want to take them.
I know. But sometimes we don't. But the first 2 weeks of the month, I choose what the date is. And the last 2 weeks of the month, he chooses what the date is. But don't stop dating and never have a mentality that your marriage is good enough, because it's not.
And by the way, last month for date night,
I already did the first 2 weeks of this month.
Who took you to Doobie Brothers?
Well, I know, but
that was a great date. And just wait, you don't know what I have coming tomorrow night, because it's your night off.
You're cutting it close.
I'm not cutting it close. It's tomorrow night's date night. I have a surprise for her. But yeah, and I would just I would add this, because I think this is really, really important. Your marriage has to be the most important thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
None of our children are as important as our marriage.
Right, for sure.
My father's gone, my mother's alive, but my mom's not more important. And you know what? Good parents, don't you try to make yourself more important than your children's marriage. My father used to always tell me, when you get married, you and your wife become your family. We're secondary. And I'm so glad my dad taught that to us. And he said, don't you feel bad. And he used to say, you put your wife before me, because my dad and I were very, very close. And so my mom and dad knew each other 2 weeks, got married, and were married for decades. And my mom and dad had a sign my entire life that hung in our house. A good marriage is a union of two good forgivers.
That's good.
If you hold a grudge or you keep throwing people's mistakes in their face, you'll never have a good marriage. So I hope that helps.
Does. One thing I want to say really quick though is I heard a pastor say this once, and it was the greatest advice and the greatest thing I'd ever heard on a marriage. 2 people who love Jesus more than anything will never get divorced. You have to choose to love Jesus first.
Absolutely. I remember I heard that the same day you heard it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
2 people who love Jesus will never get divorced. That's powerful. All right. Appreciate all of you. God bless you.